was the first person who actually gave the message to all of us about self-realization. There was a great Mahatma whose name was Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Right? Have you heard about Ramakrishna Paramahansa? How many of you know about Ramakrishna Paramahansa? Yeah. He was a great Mahatma. Ramakrishna Paramahansa was a very staunch devotee of Mother Kali. Right? When he wanted to talk to Mother Kali, his faith and trust was so strong that when he stands in front of the statue of Mother Kali and he puts a cotton in front of her nose of the statue, and if he offers a food to Ma, and he said, Ma, if you have accepted this food of mine, what I would like to know, I want to see that you are breathing or no. You know, sometimes we have doubts, we offer food to Bhagavan, and then we don't know if he received it or not received it. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he was such a staunch devotee of Mother Kali. All what he was living for Ma. So he put a cotton wool in front of Ma's nose, and all what he wanted to see if Ma was breathing or not. So he puts a cotton wool in front of the nose, and what happens? You can see the cotton wool was moving. How staunch devotee he would be when he sees a miracle like this in his life. He was not only praying to the statue, he was praying to the reality. He manifested that statue into reality. Who manifested it? It is his Atma entered into that Mother Kali's statue, started to accept it. It means he separated himself from himself to enjoy himself. That's how powerful Atma Jnani is. Atma Jnanis are Paramahansas. You know, Paramahansa means what? The one who is full of only Atma, they live for Atma. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa knows the past, present and future of everything. If anyone who is a Paramahansa, they are just quiet. They are silent only, all the time keeping quiet and just watch, just like the trees. Every tree, if you watch it, they won't speak to you. They are just giving oxygen to each and every human being. They don't even say anything to you. Every tree which you see, which giving food to us, oxygen to us, they are all Paramahamsas. You know, if you go to under a tree and sit under a banyan tree, you will see they are all enjoying, they are very happy, all the leaves are just moving, even there is no wind. They are Paramhansa, right? So the nature is Paramahansa, the water which runs, the river which runs, they are just calm and happy for whatever they are. So a Jnani, a Paramhansa is someone who just only relaxed. They don't talk, they don't do anything. All what they do, they send their vibrations outside. So to this Paramhansa, there was a being, there was a person who came to see him, and his name was Narendranath. Right? Paramhansa was such a great personality, people used to come to him. But this person who came to Ramakrishna, his name was Narendranath, and he came to him. And as soon as Ramakrishna, he saw this boy, he got a bit excited. Because he was a Jnani, he was a Paramahansa, right? He knows past, present, and future. He got so excited by seeing that particular boy. He got so excited and he said, wow, he has come. He told Mother Kali, he has come. What can Mother Kali do? I know he has come. Now it's your responsibility how you trap him. I bring everyone to you, but it's your responsibility how you trap them. So it's your responsibility. I don't have anything. My job is to bring you here. I am just the pilot. I brought the flight to you. Now it's your responsibility how you take them to abode. Right? So this Narendra ji, he was there and Ramakrishna was very excited with him. And he went to him. So you have come. He said, yes, I have come. Why have you come here? I just have came here because somebody told me that there is a sannyasi or jnani, somebody who lives here, who knows about God. But I don't believe in God. I don't understand what is God. And I don't want to know about God. All what I have come here to see, who are you? This is what happens. When you come to this temple, sometimes you are told to go there. Sometimes you make a choice to go there. Sometimes it is been said that the deity of that particular temple or that God has brought you here. Who knows? But there is a purpose for you to visit this particular place. So Narendra came here and he was asking, I just wanted to see you, but I don't believe in God. Ramakrishna says, ye to bada nakkat hai. He said, what sort of person he is? He's not saying he doesn't believe in God and all sorts of things. What he's saying? He said, if you are an Atma Jnani, if you are a true being, Narendra challenged him. If you are a true personality, if you know where is God, you got to prove me. And it happens. Sometimes when people come to the temple, I don't believe in this Sai Baba. How can you prove me? It's very challenging sometimes for a So Narendra asked this question and Ramakrishna said, how on earth I can explain to this boy and how can I show him the proof? So what happened? He said, you can stay here for a little bit. Narendra said, no, I have got other things to do. I don't want to know about all these things. You tell me now or else I am going. And he tried lots and lots of options. If you think about it, how can you prove someone that God exists? No one can prove that God does exist. Only way you can prove yourself that God exists, you need to experience God. Right? If you see, there is a plate of food is here. How do you know this food has got lots of vitamins, minerals and all sorts of things? How do you know? Does the food tell you I've got this much vitamins and minerals? No. Somebody else tells you this is what is in there. Right? But it's only in there. But only the food knows what I have. How much minerals and food, vitamins and all sorts of things I have. Only the food knows. But if you want to know what it is in there, you got to taste it. Even you taste that food, you still doesn't know that food has got minerals and vitamins or no. You got to experience it. Then only you would be able to know what is it. But still you don't know. Isn't that true? So we can't just prove it because some things are there which cannot be proven. Right? The smell in the flower. It can only be proven but we don't know from where does it come from. The basic. Nobody knows, but it smells very nice. Superficial. It smells very nice. The bliss in everything. The sweetness in the sugar. How can you explain sweetness? Tell me. How does sweetness taste? Sweet. How does sugar taste? Sweet. How does sweet taste? Sweet. So this is the question which Narendra ji, he asked Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He was so confused and he couldn't understand. He said, how can I prove this person about God? When you want to experience God, you got to experience it by yourself. Right? If you want to know reality, if you want to experience self-realization, you got to get into it. You got to know the self first, then only realization will happen. Right? So now Ramakrishna, because he was quite old, what he did? he said to him, okay, I am quite old and I have got a very short eyesight. I can't see very well. And also I can't hear very well because I am quite old. Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He said, I have got a particular book. And I have been wanting to read this book for a long time. See how the trap, how he's trapping him. I have been wanting to read this particular book for a long time. But unfortunately, because my eyesight is not very good and my hearing is not very good and I am quite old, would you mind, please, reading this particular book for me? And Vivekananda was just looking at the book, everything goes in it. This Narendra, what he said, since you are an old man, at least I have some pity in you. Even though I am an atheist, I don't believe in God, but I believe in seva. So I might do a little bit of seva to you. It's alright. I have got a little bit of time. So he gave the book to him and he started reading. The book was called Ashtavakra Gita. Right? This is the book which he gave it to him. Not this book, but I know it is version of Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa. It was something like that. He gave it to him and he said, please could you read it for me? And he started reading. As soon as he started reading the first chapter, means the first verse, the second verse, Narendra said, oh man, it's too much information here. He started to tremble. He said, there is too much in here, in this book. I don't want to know anything about it. He said, please, Ramakrishna, please, you know I am an old man. I can't hear. I can't see. But I really, desperately want to know what is in this book. He continued reading. He said, can you read it a bit louder? How he's trapping him. Can you read it a bit louder? Vivekananda, Narendra ji, what he did, Narendranath, he kept on reading, kept on reading, kept on reading, kept on reading, kept on reading. As he was reading and reading and reading and reading this particular book, he got so engrossed into this book that he went into a state of trance or in a state of meditation. He got so engrossed into that book that he was so trapped into that book that he really liked that particular book and he got into that state of bliss and state of ananda, and his power of discrimination, what he was thinking was totally changed, and what made him understand the power of the self and realize the reality of the Atma and the reality of the bliss. He got so engrossed into it that he forgot himself. The job done. Ramakrishna Paramahansa looked at him. He was such a bliss. When he woke up from his meditation, when he came out of this meditation, that the person, Narendra, who never wanted to know God, who never even believed in God, who never even knew anything about self-realization, he bowed down to that saint who was standing down there. He said, what a great book you have given me. And this particular book has given me so much of knowledge that I am knowing so much out of it that it has made so much broadness of my mind. It has changed my thinking pattern and it has made me understand the power of my intellect. I'm so grateful that you allowed me to read this book for you. I'm so great. Ramakrishna Paramahansa started laughing, and you know how he was? He was a very happy, jolly fellow. A jnani is always jolly. No matter how many times you slap him, they will be still jolly. No matter how many times you abuse him and accuse him, he will still be jolly. No matter how many times you say lots and lots of nonsense in front of him, he will still be jolly. That's what Ramakrishna Paramahansa was. He was always in a jolly mood. He became so happy and he said, Narendra Nath, since this book, this particular book has opened your intellect and it has given you the power of discrimination, it has increased your viveka. Viveka means the power of your intellect. Means it has broadened your intellect. You are named from today Viveka. And because you got so engrossed into that Viveka and you are into so much of bliss and you are in so much of Ananda, you are Ananda. So from today, you are not Narendra Nath, you are changed into Vivek Ananda. So that's how Swami Vivekananda came into this whole process. And who was the first person who read the book? It is Swami Vivekananda who read this Ashtavakra Gita. This particular book, Ashtavakra Gita, if you as a jnani, as a sannyasi, as a samsari, if you don't get anything out of this particular book, that means something is wrong with you. Definitely something is wrong with you. You are neither samsari, you are neither sannyasi, or neither jnani. There is something beyond which you are. There is no cure for that particular type of disease. So Swami Paramahansa Yogananda, he gave that jnana to Narendra Nath and turned him into Swami Vivekananda. And that's how he became a staunch disciple of this great being, Ramakrishna Paramahansa. If you are hungry, not for food, if you are hungry for jnana, more knowledge, become or turn your life into Vivekananda. Vivekananda never left anything. He stayed as what he wanted to be. But at the same time, he knew that how to discriminate and how to be in bliss. That's the power of our Atmajnani. The first sutra, which has been said in Ashtavakra Gita, and the first chapter is all about instruction on self-realization. So the first sutra, it goes like this. Katham jnanam avapnoti Katham mukti avishyate Vairagyam cha katham praptam Etad bruhi mama prabhu. This is the first sutra, means the first thread which Janaka asked, the question which Janaka asked Ashtavakra. How we can know the knowledge? How can we acquire knowledge? How liberation can happen? And how renunciation is possible? You know, because Janaka was he was wanting to know that I've got everything. The whole kingdom is with me. But I need to know how to go beyond it. I'm lacking something in life. I've got everything, the whole kingdom, but I'm lacking something. How can I transcend this and be totally in bliss? So this verse, which is the first verse of the first chapter, Janaka asked a question. And the whole stanza, it goes like this, as I read before, and I'll break each and every word and explain to you what does it mean. Katham jnanam avapnoti. Katham means how. Jnanam means knowledge. Avapnoti means acquire. Right? Katham jnanam avapnoti. How to acquire knowledge. Right? Katham mukti avishyate. How liberation will be. Right? Katham means how. Mukti means liberation. Avishyate means will be. Right? And the third thing which has been said, Vairagyam cha. Vairagyam means renunciation, detachment, quietness. These are the words. Vairagyam. How Vairagyam can be possible? Vairagyam means renunciation. Cha means and. Katham means how. Praptam etad means is secured. Right? Bruhi mama Prabhu. Tell me, O Lord. Prabhu means Lord. Here Ashtavakra was a very young, youthful, 12-year-old child. Janaka was a king. He must have been very old because he ran a big kingdom. But here what happens, the king comes to the level and even below the level of Ashtavakra, and he's sitting at the feet of Ashtavakra and he's asking, Oh Prabhu, he's saying, Oh my Lord, oh my God. Right? You need to tell me, how can knowledge be acquired? How can liberation be attained? And how is renunciation possible? So he bowed down to him. You know, sometimes when we think about it, a devotee is much older than a guru. When someone calls you a Swami, when someone calls you a Guru, when someone calls you a Sadguru, when someone calls you, it's not about that person's age. It's all about that person's power which he has, you know. So here Janaka, he's a very staunch sannyasi. Means he's, anyone who asks a question, they are sannyasis. No? So he is actually inquiring about it. How these things are happening. So there he says again, Katham jnanam avapanoti, Katham mukti avishyate, Vairagyam cha katham praptam etad, Bruhi mama Prabhu. Please tell me. Right? Please tell me. Ashtavakra, please tell me. Swamiji, oh Lord, please tell me how it can be. How can this thing be acquired? What is it all that a devotee would ask to their Sadguru in a normal day-to-day life? These are the three major questions which all the devotees needs to ask their master, right? But what do they ask? What are the devotees who ask their master? When can I get a next home? When can I get a new car? When can my child be this? When can my this? When can I buy this? All about all the materialistic things. But these are the three major things which are a sannyasi, means a seeker, needs to ask. What is the first thing? He needs to ask about the knowledge, ज्ञान. पहला हमको ज्ञान के जरूरी है जानना. दूसरा, we need to know about liberation. We need to know about Vairagya. But because he was so desperate, Janaka was so desperate. He was full of anxiety because he's so confused, because he had that dream, and at the same time he had that kingdom where he was awake. He was so much wanting to know what is real. So his mind became so entangled and he was so fickle in his head that anxiety took over him. You know, when we have anxiety, we always mumble jumble the questions, you know? Even in class, in school, when you go to the teacher in front of a teacher, what we have to ask we forget. We ask something different. You know? Sometimes when devotees come here, what exactly the question they want to ask, they forget. What they don't need to ask, that is what they are asking for. Huh? You know, you get so excited because out of excitement, you may ask, you become like a child. Huh? in front of a Jnani. So he was such an old, good king, but he was like a child and he was asking this question, but with a confused mind, but at the same time full of anxiety. So he asked these 3 questions, but it was upside down. It was all upside down, and what it said, Katham Jnanam Avapanoti, Katham Mukti Avishyate, Vairagyam Cha Katham Praptam Etad Bruhi Mama Prabhu. He said, Katham Jnanam Avapanoti, how can I acquire knowledge? Knowledge means, knowledge is the last thing which you need to know. Oh, Mukti is the last thing. First thing which you need to know is how to get Vairagya. How can you detach from all those things which we have in life, right? That is the first thing which everyone needs to know. How I have got so much in my plate. How can I detach from all these things? Do you think a Jnani, this is, I am talking to a Jnani, I am not talking to a Samsari. Every one of you, you are sitting down here, you are all sannyasis. You are a Sika, that's why you came. Aren't you a Sika? You are a Sika, and at the same time your Jnana Tattva means your energy which is inside of you, which is the power of knowledge, is activating in you, right? So you are a Sika. What you are going to ask, what you all know that one day you will be Ram Nam Satya hai. Hai na? How many of you know that you are going to finish from this planet? Body, yes. How many of you know that everyone will die but me? How many of you know that? You know that one day you won't have this body anymore. Right? That's why you are wanting to know, you are hungry to know the power of Ashtavakra Gita, what he has explained. What Ashtavakra has explained in Ashtavakra Gita. So that's what the purpose of your life is. So here what he is asking over and over again, Katham Jnanam Avapanoti. Again he asks the question, please tell me, how can I acquire knowledge? Then again he asked him, how liberation can happen. Sometimes, people do ask questions like that over and over again, but there is no answer. Jnani will only answer what you need to hear. A Jnani will always answer what you need to hear. The Jnani will always give you what you need, not what you want. That's what it is. When you go to a Atma Jnani will give you what you need. As Swami says very beautifully, Baba says, Satya Sai Baba, what he says? I will lessen the pain, but I will not get involved in your karma. You do your duty. But I can help you to give you the malham. How you can control this pain. But you have to go through the process. You got to go through the karma, as it says. Right? So a Jnani means Bhagavan will always give you what you need. But you have to work hard on your wants. That's what whole Ashtavakra Gita is all about. So here the question comes again. How can Vairagya be attained? How can we get Vairagya? A true sannyasi will always ask you 3 questions. Janaka knew the answer, but he won't know. But he want to know how to. Because Janaka was such a great learner. He was a king. He knew everything. Everything he knew. What Ashtavakra is going to tell him. But he acted and he knew that this message which he is going to give me, I could have read it in the book. Because all of you all read things in the book. You can read a book and become enlightened. Janaka knew everything what he wanted to know about liberation and all sorts of things. But he never experienced anything. How he experienced, he knew that inside of him, unless I sit at the lotus feet of a Sadguru, my liberation will never be there. So in this time and era, it is very important of me to sit under you, Atma Jnani. I sit under you, Ashtavakra, and I receive the knowledge from you. So please explain to me. So Ashtavakra started explaining. Our life is like that as well. All what we need to ask ourselves. What we need to ask. How can liberation? मुक्ति कैसे हमको मिलेगा? ज्ञान कैसे हमको प्राप्त होगा? वैराग्य कैसे होगा हमारा? यही 3 क्वेश्चन है जो हमको हमेशा पूछना चाहिए. These are the 3 things we need to ask ourselves daily. And when you go under a Sadguru, this is what you need to ask. I might stop tonight over here, and we will continue the 2nd verse and continue the 1st verse with the 2nd verse, and I will explain to you what was the first thing which Ashtavakra told Raja Janak. What Ashtavakra told this true Jnani or the sannyasi. Every one of us, we are sitting down here, we are hungry to know. Isn't that true? We are hungry to know. And we all want to have that self-confidence in us. We are all looking for, every one of us, we are all looking for freedom. Every one of us, we are looking for getting out of that loneliness. Isn't that true? So next week, we'll continue this Ashtavakra Gita, and we'll go ahead with what he teaches. And it's very important, it's so interesting, this whole Ashtavakra Gita is so much of knowledge is in there. It is only 20 chapters, but if you break it, when you are eating some sort of, I'll tell you one drumstick, for example. Drumstick? Murunga, which is the superfood. If you just suck it and throw it in the plate, it's no point. You won't get the taste, right? But when you put it into your mouth and chew it, 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 then only you will get the taste. You have just put a piece of murunga or drumstick in your mouth. Now your responsibility as an Atma-jnani, as a sannyasi, to chew. By the end of this year, you might get some taste out of it. You might split it on halfway, probably. No, you should keep on chewing, keeping. This is what Ashtavakra Gita is all about. If you want anything in life, truth will come to you unless you become true to yourself. That's what Ashtavakra is teaching. Ashtavakra is all about truth. He doesn't stop you from any worldly duties you are doing. But what he teaches you, how to be detached from all the duties you are doing. And each and every verses which we read in this book tells you how to detach.